Dear students, today we will revise the important topics of biology class 10th. In nature, nothing is created, nothing is lost, everything changes. Chapter 1 of biology is life processes. It includes the various life processes like nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion that are important for maintenance of life of all living beings. So first of all, न्यूट्रिशन न्यूट्रिशन एक ऐसा प्रोसेस है जो लिविंग बींग्स न्यूट्रिएंट्स लेते हैं, सिंथेसाइज करते हैं और चेंज करते हैं सिंपल एब्जॉर्बेबल फॉर्म में। अब ये कैसे करते हैं? बाय बायोकेमिकल प्रोसेस। अब देर आर टू मोड्स ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन। ऑटोट्रॉपिक न्यूट्रिशन होता है जिसमें ऑर्गेनिज्म खुद अपना खाना बनाते हैं सिंपल इनऑर्गेनिक रॉ मटेरियल्स जो कि सराउंडिंग में प्रेजेंट है उसके द्वारा, जैसे कि न्यूट्रिशन इन प्लांट्स। नाउ इस प्रोसेस में ग्रीन प्लांट जो है अपना खाना खुद बनाते, ग्लूकोज फ्रॉम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वाटर बाय यूजिंग सनलाइट इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ क्लोरोफिल। एंड जो फोटोसिंथेसिस है उसके दो फेजेस होते हैं, लाइट फेज एंड डार्क फेज, एंड इट टेक्स प्लेस इन द लीव्स ऑफ अ प्लांट। नाउ सेकेंड इज हेटरोट्रॉपिक न्यूट्रिशन। अब इसमें ऑर्गेनिज्म अपना खाना खुद प्रिपेयर नहीं करते हैं बल्कि डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली डिपेंड होते हैं ऑटोट्रॉप्स के ऊपर अपने फूड के लिए। अब न्यूट्रिशन इन एनिमल्स या ह्यूमंस जो है वो स्पेशलाइज्ड डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम से होता है। डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम ह्यूमन में एलिमेंट्री कैनाल और एसोसिएटेड डाइजेस्टिव ग्लैंड्स भी होते हैं, दैट वी विल स्टडी इन नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। एंड इसके अलावा जो न्यूट्रिशन होते हैं वो होते हैं होलोजोइक न्यूट्रिशन दैट इज इन ह्यूमन बींग्स, एंड सेप्रोफाइटिक इन विच डेड एंड डिकेइंग प्लांट्स के ऊपर डिपेंड करते हैं ऑर्गेनिज्म। पैरासाइटिक में जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स या फूड जो है लिविंग बींग्स दूसरे लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म से लेते हैं विदाउट किलिंग दैम। ओके, नेक्स्ट लाइफ प्रोसेस इज रेस्पिरेशन। रेस्पिरेशन प्लांट्स में होता है स्टोमेटा के द्वारा बाय डिफ्यूजन, और एनिमल्स में रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस के ऊपर होता है, डिफरेंट रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस होते हैं, एंड इन ह्यूमन ए कंप्लीट रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम चाहिए होता है। अब दो तरह के रेस्पिरेशन होते हैं, देर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन, एरोबिक जिसमें कि ऑक्सीजन यूज होती है, दूसरा एनारोबिक जिसमें विदाउट ऑक्सीजन रेस्पिरेशन होता है। जो अब रेस्पिरेशन इन एनिमल्स और प्लांट्स में डिफरेंस क्या है आपको समझ में आ गया होगा कि रेस्पिरेशन इन प्लांट्स डिफ्यूजन के द्वारा होता है, लेकिन एनिमल्स में ऑन द सरफेस और बाय डिफरेंट रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम इज देयर। नाउ रेस्पिरेशन इन ह्यूमन में इन्वॉल्व होती है ब्रीदिंग। ब्रीदिंग में इनहेलेशन और एक्सेलेशन। इनहेलेशन में क्या होता है बेटा? एयर मूव्स इन विद द कॉन्ट्रैक्शन ऑफ डायफ्राम एंड मसल्स ऑफ रिब्स। एक्सेलेशन में एयर मूव्स आउट विद द रिलैक्सेशन ऑफ डायफ्राम एंड मसल्स ऑफ रिब्स। अब ह्यूमन रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम we will understand with the help of diagram. Next life process is transportation. ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ज़रूरी है एक चीज़ को दूसरी जगह पे पहुंचाने के लिए। अगर आपको स्कूल जाना है या मॉल जाना है तो आपको ट्रांसपोर्ट तो चाहिए होगा ना बेटा। उसी तरह से डिफरेंट न्यूट्रिएंट्स को हमारी बॉडी में एक पार्ट से दूसरे पार्ट में जाने के लिए भी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नेसेसरी है। अब प्लांट्स को क्या चाहिए? वाटर और मिनरल्स that are transported by xylem and food prepared by leaves. अब जो leaves के ऊपर food prepare हुआ है with the help of photosynthesis वो कैसे transport होगा? By phloem. And the waste products like carbon dioxide, ammonia, urea, etc. are formed in the different cells. और ये सारे हार्मफुल सब्सटेंसेज हैं वो रिमूव भी होते हैं हमारी बॉडी के द्वारा। एक्स्ट्रा सॉल्ट होता है जो प्लांट से रिमूव होता है। अब और क्या होता है? प्लांट वाटर, मिनरल, सॉल्ट सभी जो है वो एब्जॉर्ब कहाँ से करेंगे? सॉइल के द्वारा विद द रूट सिस्टम। Okay, so the most important parts are xylem and phloem in plants. But in humans, blood carries the food, materials, oxygen, waste materials, all this, okay? And heart pumps the blood lymph and lymph transports material to heart through blood. अब इसमें एक क्वेश्चन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बेटा कि हार्ट ह्यूमन हार्ट के 4 चैम्बर्स क्यों होते हैं, ये बार बार पूछा जाता है और शायद इस साल भी पूछा जाएगा. सो ह्यूमन बींग्स के ऑक्सीजनेटेड और डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड जो है वो मिक्सअप ना हो जाए, इसके लिए 4 डिफरेंट चैम्बर्स होते हैं. ना ह्यूमन बींग्स जो ट्रांसपोर्ट करते हैं जैसे ऑक्सीजन और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, फूड, एक्सक्रीटरी प्रोडक्ट्स, ये सारे सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम में आते हैं. इसमें सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है हार्ट, ब्लड, लिम्फ एंड ब्लड वेसल्स. ब्लड क्या करता है? ब्लड कैरीज द फूड मटेरियल्स, ऑक्सीजन, वेस्ट मटेरियल्स एंड इज फोर्स्ड बाय पंप द हार्ट थ्रू अ सिस्टम ऑफ ट्यूब्स. The blood vessels, that is artery and veins, to the close vicinity of every cell and then back to the heart to be pumped round again and again. लिम्फ जो है वो एक अलग फ्लूइड है जो ट्रांसपोर्ट करता है कुछ मटेरियल्स को ब्लड के द्वारा हार्ट. नेक्स्ट लाइफ प्रोसेस इज एक्सक्रीशन. अब ये बायोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस जिसमें रिमूवल ऑफ टॉक्सिक वेस्ट होता है दैट इज नोन एज एक्सक्रीशन. अब एक्सक्रीशन इन प्लांट्स में क्या होता है बेटा? रिमूवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बाय द photosynthesis, removal of water by transpiration, and removal of excess salt by guttation. And plants use completely different strategies for excretion. Okay, that means there are different. You can see photosynthesis, transpiration, and guttation. Now, in human excretory system, it is a complete excretory system that is carried by consists of a pair of kidneys, woman's capsule, nephrons, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra with different functions. And pair of kidneys are like bean shaped reddish brown in color and that lies on either side of vertebral column in the abdominal cavity attached to the dorsal body. Now kidneys consist of nephrons which are the functional unit of kidney and pair of ureter is there. Each kidney emerges out a slender whitish tube called ureters that carry urine from kidney to urinary bladder. और urinary bladder और urethra, urinary bladder जो है pear shaped का होता है and ये एक रिजर्वायर की तरह यूज होता है यूरिन को स्टोर करने के लिए. That leads to urethra through urethral aperture. That's all for this chapter. Human alimentary canal. It begins with the mouth and ends with anus. It is about 9 meters in length. The various organs beginning from mouth in an order are as follows: mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and rectum and anus. There are many digestive glands associated with the alimentary canal like salivary glands, pancreas, liver, gastric and intestinal glands. All these glands play an important role in the digestion of food. You have to remember the function of all. Respiratory system in human beings consists of external nostril, nasal cavity, internal nostril, pharynx, larynx, trachea and a pair of lungs which provide the surface for the exchange of gases. Now how this process goes on? जो एयर है वो नॉस्ट्रिल के द्वारा अंदर जाती है, फिर नेसल कैविटी में जाती है और सेपरेट होती है ओरल कैविटी से एंड दैट इज नेसल सेप्टम. Then pharynx is a short vertical tube located at the back of buccal cavity और वो provide करता है passes. किसके लिए? एयर के लिए. And it opens the air into it. Then the air goes to windpipe and it is a thin tube that extends downward through the neck and divides into two major bronchs. Then lungs provide the surface for the exchange of gases. Each individual has a pair of lungs. The lungs lie in the thoracic cavity. The thoracic cavity is separated from the abdominal cavity by a muscular portion called diaphragm. Each bronchiole divides into alveolar ducts which either enter the alveolar sacs, and the alveolar sacs are also known as alveoli. Breathing in human involves the movement of rib cage and diaphragm. Human heart is a double circulatory system, as it is a mechanism in which blood circulates twice through the heart in one complete cycle. Systematic circulation and pulmonary circulation are two pathways through which blood flows in it. In human circulatory system, the pathway of blood from heart to the lungs and back to the heart is called pulmonary circulation, while the pathway of blood from the heart to the rest of the body and back to the heart is called systematic circulation. So these are two types of circulation taken together to make double circulation, and the separation of right and left side of heart help in separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood and allow highly efficient supply of oxygen to the body. Birds and mammals are warm-blooded animals and their metabolism is quite complex. They require a constant supply of oxygen without proper separation. So oxygenated blood can mix with deoxygenated blood, which can cause problem in birds and mammals. So separation is required. That's why the human beings have 4 chambers in their heart. Human excretory system consists of pair of kidney, pair of urethra, a urinary bladder and a urethra. Each kidney is made up of a large number of excretory units called nephrons. The nephron has a cup-shaped bag at its upper end which is called Bowman's capsule. The lower end of Bowman's capsule is tube-shaped and it is called tubule. Now Bowman's capsule contains bundle of blood capillaries which is called glomerulus. And the function of glomerulus is to filter the blood passing through it. One end of glomerulus is attached to the renal artery which brings the dirty blood containing waste into it, and the other end of glomerulus comes out of Bowman's capsule as a blood capillary. Now, only the small molecules of substances present in blood like glucose, amino acid, salt, urea and water etc. pass through the glomerulus and collect as filtrate in Bowman's capsule. But the large molecules like proteins and blood cells cannot pass out through the glomerulus and hence remain in the blood. The function of nephron is to allow the selective reabsorption of useful substances like glucose, amino acid, salts and water into the blood capillaries, but the waste material like urea remains behind in the tubule and pass through. Control and coordination in plants, plant hormones or movements. Now movements are of two types, nastic movements or tropic movements. Nastic movements are thigmotropism, that means response to touch, like touch me not plant. It is also known as seismonastic movement. And tropic movements includes phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism. फोटोट्रॉपिज्म में क्या होता है? इट इज रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू लाइट. मूवमेंट जो होगा वो रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू लाइट होता है, जिधर लाइट जाएगी उधर मूवमेंट होगा. अब शूट्स आर पॉजिटिवली फोटोट्रॉपिक वाइल रूट्स आर नेगेटिवली फोटोट्रॉपिक. जियोट्रॉपिज्म इज movement in response to gravity. Roots are positively geotropic while shoots are negatively geotropic. Chemotropism में क्या होता है? Movement in response to chemical stimulus. Growth of pollen tube towards the chemical produced by an ovule. Hydrotropism, movement in response to water. Bending of roots towards water. Now, the different plant hormones like ethylene that controls the ripening of fruits and leaves. Abscisic acid stress and dormancy hormone होता है. Cytokinin, it is its function is in cell division, delay leaves aging, used in tissue culture. Gibberellin is used in growth of stem and seeds. Auxin is responsible for cell elongation and root growth. So that is all about the different types of control and coordination in plants. Next chapter is control and coordination. Now we will discuss about the control and coordination in animals, which includes central nervous system, that is also known as CNS, and other is endocrine system. So central nervous system consists of spinal cord, brain and neuron. There are 5 sense organs in our body that you all know. कौन से बेटा? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. So these sense organs contain receptors that senses sensitive to particular type of stimuli. The common types of receptors are photoreceptors that detect light present in the eyes, phonoreceptors that detect sound present in ear, olfactory receptors that detect smell present in nose, gustatory receptors detect taste present in tongue, and thermoreceptors detect heat or cold, and these are present in skin. Neurons are a structural and functional unit of nervous system. Neuron is the longest cell in human body, and the different components of neuron are cell body, dendrites and axon. And the nervous system is of two types, central nervous and peripheral nervous system, in which central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord, that you can see. Brain is the highest coordinating center in the body. It is protected by a bony box in the skull called cranium. The diagram you can see, and the brain is broadly divided into 3 regions: forebrain, midbrain and hidden brain. Forebrain consists mainly of cerebrum. Midbrain does not have any further division, and hindbrain consists of 3 parts called pone, cerebellum and medulla. The cerebrum, that is the main thinking part of the brain, and the midbrain controls reflex movements of head, neck, trunk in response to different sensory stimuli. Pons takes part in regulating respiration. Cerebellum helps in maintaining posture and balance of the body. And medulla oblongata controls various involuntary actions such as heartbeat, breathing, blood pressure, and other peristaltic movements of alimentary canal. Now coming to spinal cord. A spinal cord is a cylindrical structure that begins in the continuation with the medulla oblongata of brain and extends downward up to early parts of lumbar region. It then extends to the end of vertebral column as fibrous connective. It is enclosed in a bony cage called vertebral column, and as many as 31 pairs of nerves arise from spinal cord. The spinal cord is concerned with spinal reflex actions and the conduction of nerve impulse to and from the brain. Now, spinal cord performs 2 important functions. First is it conducts sensory and motor impulses to and from the brain, and it acts as a center for reflex actions. Thus, it reduces the work of brain. Now you can see in the diagram stimulus, then receptor, then sensor neuron, then decision making conscious thought in brain, and motor neuron from all other parts of the body like effectors, and then motor neuron goes to brain, spinal reflex arc, Rapid and involuntary actions are taken place. Okay, now coming to endocrine system. Now there are endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Endocrine glands release hormone into bloodstream to regulate different functions, and exocrine glands in pancreas secrete insulin, glucagon, which regulates blood glucose level. And you can see एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम में कौन कौन सी ग्लैंड्स होती हैं? हाइपोथैलेमस, थायराइड, पिट्यूटरी, एडर्नल एंड पैनक्रियाज. नाउ हाइपोथैलेमस क्या करता है बेटा? सीक्रेट्स इनहिबिटिंग एंड रिलीजिंग हार्मोन दैट स्टिमुलेट्स पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड. नाउ थायराइड ग्लैंड मेंटेन्स मेटाबॉलिक रेट. पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड स्टिमुलेटेड hypothalamus secretes GH and TSH. Adrenal gland secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Pancreas secretes insulin and glucagon, which regulates blood glucose levels. Now let us discuss more about the hormones and their functions. Now endocrine glands are ductless glands that secrete hormones, that is chemical messengers which carry messages to particular organ or tissue through the bloodstream. These glands control growth, development, metabolism, and reproduction. Endocrine glands secrete hormones in response to external and internal stimuli. Now you can see in the diagram pituitary gland कहाँ पे है? Thyroid is near neck, adrenal, stomach, pancreas, stomach, ovary and testes in reproductive part. So there is a table given where the glands, hormones and their function is there. So pituitary glands ग्रोथ हार्मोन है और वो रेगुलेट करते हैं ग्रोथ और कंट्रोल करते हैं एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स के फंक्शंस को. थायराइड ग्लैंड जो है वो थायरॉक्सिल हार्मोन्स रिलीज करते हैं और कंट्रोल करते हैं मेटाबॉलिज्म रेट को और ग्रोथ को भी बैलेंस करते हैं. पैराथायरॉइड जो ग्लैंड्स हैं वो हार्मोन जो रिलीज करते हैं एंड दे कंट्रोल्स कैल्शियम बैलेंस ऑफ द बॉडी. एडर्नल ग्लैंड्स रिलीज करते हैं एड्रेनालाइन हार्मोन एंड प्रिपेयर्स बॉडी फॉर इमरजेंसी. Pancreas glands releases insulin and they controls glucose level of the blood. Testis releases testosterone hormone and controls growth and development of male reproductive system, while ovaries releases estrogen and progesterone and it controls growth and development of female reproductive system. What is reproduction? The process by which cells and organisms produce young ones of the same kind is known as reproduction. So reproduction in plants is of two types, sexual and asexual. सेक्सुअल में क्या होता है? दो पेरेंट्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं और फ्यूजन ऑफ गैमेट्स होता है. लेकिन एसेक्सुअल में नो फ्यूजन ऑफ गैमेट्स एंड ओनली सिंगल पेरेंट इज इन्वॉल्व्ड. So the different types of asexual reproduction are fission, budding, spore formation, fragmentation and regeneration, and the last one is vegetative propagation. वेजिटेटिव प्रोपोगेशन में रूट स्टेम या लीव्स इनके द्वारा होता है, जिसमें से रूट स्टेम या लीव्स को कट करके हम प्लांट ग्रो कर सकते हैं. Asexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction where offsprings are produced from a single parent without the fusion of gametes, resulting in genetically identical progeny. Now, the different types of asexual reproduction are, first of all, binary fission that you can see. This is the simplest form of asexual reproduction where a single parent directly divide into two identical daughter cells. You can see the example like amoeba and E. coli. And in this process, the DNA replication followed by the division of cytoplasm takes place. Second is budding. In this process, a new organism develops as an outgrowth or bud from the parent organism. The bud eventually detaches to live independently. ये कहाँ पे दिखता है? हाइड्रा और ईस्ट में. जो बर्ड फॉर्म होती है पेरेंट पर, वो ग्रो होती रहती है जब तक कि वो मैच्योर ना हो जाए और फिर सेपरेट हो जाती है. नेक्स्ट इज स्पोर फॉर्मेशन, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉन एज स्पोरगेनेसिस. एंड इसमें क्या होता है? स्पोर्स फॉर्म होते हैं, स्पोर प्रोड्यूस होते हैं एंड दे कैन डेवलप इनटू न्यू इंडिविजुअल्स विदाउट द फर्टिलाइजेशन. ये किन में दिखता है? फंगाई में और कुछ प्लांट जैसे कि मशरूम्स. देन इसमें स्पोर्स इजीली रिलीज हो जाते हैं और ग्रो होते हैं न्यू ऑर्गेनिज्म में जब कंडीशंस फेवरेबल होती हैं. नेक्स्ट टाइप ऑफ asexual reproduction is fragmentation. This type involves the breaking of parent organism into several fragments. And जो नए fragments बने हैं वो सभी न्यू इंडिविजुअल में ग्रो हो जाते हैं, जैसे कि प्लेन एरिया में, स्पायरोगायरिया में. नेक्स्ट इज रीजनरेशन. अब इसमें ऑर्गेनिज्म में एबिलिटी होती है रीग्रो को, अपने लॉस्ट बॉडी पार्ट को रीग्रो कर सकते हैं, जो कि आगे जाके किस में फॉर्म होता है? न्यू इंडिविजुअल में. जैसे कि स्टारफिश, लिजार्ड्स क्या है? अपनी लॉस्ट लिम्ब या टेल को रीजनरेट कर लेती हैं न्यू पार्ट में. Now the last asexual reproduction is vegetative propagation. This is a asexual reproduction in plants where new individuals are produced from vegetative parts like roots, stems or leaves. And now the asexual reproduction allow organism to reproduce quickly and efficiently without the need for a mate, resulting in offsprings that are genetically identical to the parent. Let us discuss the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Majority of plants are bisexual, having male and female reproductive organs in same plant. The male reproductive organ of flower is called stamen, and it makes the male gymete, that is pollen grains. The female reproductive organ of flower is called carpel, that makes female gamete, and these gametes are present in ovules called ova or egg. Now, the transfer of pollen grains from male anther to female stigma, which can occur through various agents like wind, water, or animals. This is known as pollination. And then the next step is fertilization. After pollination, fertilization occurs when the male gamete fuse with the female gamete, resulting in the formation of a zygote. The fertilized ovule develops into a seed. Now, the surrounding ovary matures it into a fruit. Then again you will get seed and the seeds get dispersed, and thus this cycle continues. And this process is essential for the genetic diversity and propagation of flowering plants. Let us discuss the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Majority of plants are bisexual, having male and female reproductive organs in same plant. The male reproductive organ of flower is called stamen, and it makes the male gymete, that is pollen grains. The female reproductive organ of flower is called carpel, that makes female gamete, and these gametes are present in ovules called ova or egg. Now, the transfer of pollen grains from male anther to female stigma, which can occur through various agents like wind, water, or animals. This is known as pollination. And then the next step is fertilization. After pollination, fertilization occurs when the male gamete fuse with the female gamete, resulting in the formation of a zygote. The fertilized ovule develops into a seed. Now, the surrounding ovary matures it into a fruit. Then again you will get seed and the seeds get dispersed and thus this cycle continues. And this process is essential for the genetic diversity and propagation of flowering plants. Sexual reproduction in human. It includes male and female and their reproductive organs. And then fertilization takes place, and the next step comes for implantation, gestation, partition, and lactation. And ovum includes menstrual cycle in which follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase is involved. Next is family welfare programs that includes population explosion and family planning. For family planning, some methods are there. They are barrier method, hormonal method, IUDs, and surgical method. And the most important is hygiene. That is personal hygiene related to toilet hygiene and menstrual hygiene. Let us revise internal sexual and reproductive organs of male and their functions. Now, testis. It produces spermatozoa and make male hormone testosterone which stimulates changes during puberty. Next is scrotum, sac covering the testis which hangs outside the body to keep it cool as sperm can't develop or be stored at 37 degrees Celsius or above. Next organ is sperm duct. Small tubules outside the testis store sperms for maturation. Sperm duct connects these tubules to urethra. Next is urethra. Urethra carries urine and sperm but not at the same time. A ring of muscle around the urethra contracts to prevent urine loss during sexual intercourse. Next organ is prostate and glands. It secretes fluid for sperm cell to swim. Prostate secretes mucus and other secretes sugar for respiration of sperm cells. Sperm cells plus fluid is known as semen. Then penis is urethra runs down the center of penis. Its main function is to deliver sperm to the vagina for fertilization. Now here seminal vesicle or vascular gland is also there, and that's all about the internal organs of male reproductive system. Let us discuss female reproductive system. It includes different reproductive organs and their functions. Ovary. It produces female gamete and sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Oviduct, that is also known as fallopian tube. It is the site of fertilization and movement of egg cell and embryo from ovary to uterus. Uterus is the site of implantation of embryo, fetus development and muscular wall contracts to push out fetus during birth. Cervix. It directs sperms into uterus. Mucus plug during pregnancy prevents infections and dilates at the beginning of birth. Vagina is the site of deposition of sperm during intercourse and its birth canal. It stretches during birth to allow passage of fetus out of the body. So vagina allows for childbirth, intercourse and menstrual flow. And another is endometrium that provides receptive environment for a fertilized egg. The process of human sexual reproduction involves internal fertilization and embryonic development. In internal fertilization, the sperm is deposited inside the female's body during sexual intercourse. The male reproductive organ, the penis, develops sperm into the vagina, from where they travel through the cervix into the uterus and up to the oviduct. After fertilization, the zygote divides and forms a blastocyst which implants into the uterine lining. The developing embryo receives nutrients and oxygen through the placenta, which forms a connection between the mother and the fetus. It involves the following key steps: gamete formation, in which both male and female produces gametes through meiosis. Then fertilization, the fusion of sperms and ovum forms a zygote, which is diploid. Then embryo development, the zygote develops into an embryo which eventually becomes an embryo sac. Then implantation, the embryo sac implants into the uterine wall, allowing the development of fetus. Next comes gestation, in which the fetus develops inside the uterus until the birth. Then the last step is parturition. The fully developed fetus is born through the vaginal opening. To some students, biology is just reproduction. So we are moving forward in reproduction only, and in which we will discuss about the sex determination. Now, to identify the sex chromosomes in humans, one must understand that humans have a total of 46 chromosomes, which are organized into 23 pairs. अब इसमें 22 पेयर्स जो हैं वो ऑटोजोम्स हैं, मीन्स अलाइक हैं, सेम है. एंड वन पेयर ऑफ सेक्स क्रोमोजोम इज देयर, एंड in females it is represented as XX, and for males it is represented as XY. Now during reproduction, the mother contributes an X chromosome while the father contributes either an X or a Y chromosome. If the child inherits an X chromosome from the father, the child will be female, that is XX. If a Y chromosome is inherited, the child will be a male, that is XY. This genetic mechanism is crucial for the development of sexual characteristics. I hope you got it that अगर father के पास X और Y दो chromosomes हैं, लेकिन mother के पास दोनों chromosomes X और X हैं, तो जब जो child born होगा वो कंप्लीटली डिपेंड होगा कि स्पर्म से एक्स क्रोमोसोम आया है या वाई क्रोमोसोम आया है. अगर एक्स क्रोमोसोम आएगा तो फीमेल चाइल्ड होगा, गर्ल चाइल्ड होगा, और अगर वाई क्रोमोसोम आया है तो बॉय या मेल चाइल्ड होगा. Let us revise the important topics of chapter heredity, in which the most important topic is Mendel's law of inheritance. John Mendel was a humble monk and a part-time scientist who founded the entire discipline of genetics. He is also known as father of genetics, as he boils down the genetic inheritance to three simple concepts: law of segregation, law of dominance, and law of independent assortment. Now, law of segregation में diploid organism जो है उसके जो क्रोमोसोम पेयर्स हैं एंड देयर एलील आर सेपरेटेड इनटू इंडिविजुअल गैमेट्स, मतलब एग और स्पर्म्स दोनों में सेपरेट कर दिया गया है, जिससे कि जेनेटिक इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ स्प्रिंग्स में ट्रांसमिट हो पाए. उसी तरह से लॉ ऑफ डोमिनेंस में द डोमिनेंट एलील completely mask the effect of recessive allele. जो डोमिनेंट एलील होगा वो रेसेसिव एलील को डोमिनेट कर लेगा, और डोमिनेंट एलील जो है वो प्रोड्यूस करेगा सेम फिनोटाइप इन हेट्रोजाइगस एज वेल एज इन होमोजाइगस. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज लॉ ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट assortment. Alleles on different chromosomes are distributed randomly to individual gametes. So now there is one thing that comes about the inherited and environmental characteristics of any living organism. So inherited traits are characteristics that passes from parent to offspring through genes that influences physical and behavioral features, जैसे कि आई का कलर है, हाइट है, किसी डिजीज के लिए अपनी ससेप्टिबिलिटी है. एंड एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट्स में क्या आएगा बेटा? इंडिविजुअल जो डेवलप करता है अपनी लाइफ टाइम में एनवायरमेंटल इन्फ्लुएंसेस की वजह से, या अपनी अर्निंग है जैसे, या कहीं कभी एक्सीडेंट हो गया है, एंड ऑल दैट, दीज आर द एक्वायर्ड ट्रेड्स, दे आर नॉट इनहेरिटेड बाय पेरेंट्स. Okay, now I hope you have understood the difference between acquired and inherited traits. Let us revise Mendel's experiments with pea plants, as it is very important in the development of modern genetics as well as from point of view of your exams. He conducted extensive research on 7 contrasting traits in pea plant, जैसे कि सीड का कलर क्या है, फ्लावर का कलर क्या है, क्या साइजेस हैं, और उनकी स्टडी किया उनके इनहेरिटेंस पैटर्न्स को. और मैंडल की जो की फाइंडिंग्स थी उसमें मैंडल्स लॉ ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस है, जिसमें कि लॉ ऑफ डोमिनेंस, सेग्रीगेशन एंड इंडिपेंडेंट असॉर्टमेंट है, एंड देन सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन एंड क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन है. सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन मतलब नेचुरली सेल्फ pollination. Self-pollinating allows to control the reproduction of plants for itself, in which monohybrid and recessive traits are also there. Now, why Mendel choose common garden variety pea plant for his experiments? This question has been asked many times in exams, and it is expected to be asked in 2026 exam also. अब नाउ क्यों किया उन्होंने? पी प्लांट्स गुड चॉइस क्यों है? क्योंकि वो फास्ट ग्रोइंग हैं, इजी टू रेज हैं, और नेचुरली सेल्फ पॉलिनेटिंग प्रॉपर्टी है उन्होंने उसमें, और उसमें बहुत सारे विजिबल कैरेक्टर्स हैं, जैसे कि सीड का फॉर्म डिफरेंट है, कलर डिफरेंट है, फ्लावर के कलर हैं पर्पल, ब्लू एंड अदर वेराइटीज. पॉड का फॉर्म भी अलग अलग है, पॉड का कलर और प्लेसमेंट भी अलग है, फ्लावर्स जो स्टेम पे हैं, स्टेम की लेंथ क्या है, और किसी भी ईच ऑफ दीज कैरेक्टर्स हैज़ 2 कॉमन वैल्यूज़. कोई भी 2 कॉमन वैल्यूज़ हैं इसमें, जैसे कि राउंड और रिंकल्ड. ओके, फ्लावर कलर में भी वाइट और पर्पल. So Mendel experiment was just one characteristic at a time. पहले सबसे पहले जो उन्होंने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया उन्होंने एक ही कैरेक्टरिस्टिक लिया. He began with the flower color. Okay, now you can see in the diagram also in the figure, Mendel cross pollinated purple and white flower plant. अब F1 जनरेशन जो रिजल्ट होगी उसकी क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन ऑफ 2 पेरेंट्स, जो 2 पेरेंट्स हैं वो पी प्लांट्स हैं, और उसको रिप्रेजेंट भी पी से किया है हमने. जो उनके ऑफ स्प्रिंग्स होंगे उनको F1 जनरेशन नाम दिया है. अब F1 जनरेशन में जितने भी हैं वो सारे पर्पल फ्लावर्स हैं. लेकिन F2 जनरेशन में क्या हो रहा है? सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन एंड F1 प्लांट्स के साथ, फ्रॉम द सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन ऑफ F1 प्लांट्स ओनली, एंड दे कंटेन 75% पर्पल फ्लावर्स एंड 25% वाइट फ्लावर्स. तो ऑफ स्प्रिंग्स जो पी जनरेशन की है उसको F1 कह रहे हैं हम, और जो ऑफ स्प्रिंग्स है F1 जनरेशन की उसको F2 जनरेशन कहते हैं. अब नेक्स्ट सेकेंड एक्सपेरिमेंट में उन्होंने क्या किया? ही क्रॉस प्लांट्स विथ येलो राउंड सीड्स एंड प्लांट्स विथ ग्रीन रिंकल्ड सीड्स. वो आपको फिगर में दिख रहा होगा रिजल्ट. अब इस एक्सपेरिमेंट में डेमोन्स्ट्रेट क्या किया उन्होंने? F2 जनरेशन में देखिए तो 9 out of 16 वर राउंड येलो सीड्स, 3 out of 16 वर रिंकल्ड येलो सीड्स, and 3 out of 16 were round green seeds, and 1 out of 16 was wrinkled green seeds. So what was his observation? Mendel observed that plants in the F1 generation were all alike, same. All of them had yellow round seeds, like one of the 2 parents that was dominant. Now when the F1 generation plants self-pollinated, तो उनके ऑफ स्प्रिंग्स जो ऑफ F2 जनरेशन है उन्होंने सारी पॉसिबल कॉम्बिनेशंस को बताया है, सारी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स उसमें ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं आप. ओके, सो इट्स रेशियो इज 9:3:2. 3:1. Let us discuss the structure of ecosystem. It includes biotic and abiotic components. Biotic components includes producers that are plants and consumers that are herbivores, carnivores and omnivores and decomposers. Next is abiotic components that includes physical factors like temperature, humidity, sunlight, atmospheric pressure, while inorganic substances includes water, oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen. And organic substances includes proteins, carbohydrates and lipids. Let us understand the 10% law proposed by Raymond Lindman. It describes the efficiency of energy transfer in an ecosystem. According to this law, when energy is passed from one trophic level to the next, only 10% of the energy is available for the transfer, while the remaining 90% is lost primarily through metabolic process as heat, movement and waste. This principle is very important for understanding the ecological system. Now you can see in energy pyramid that sun's energy is absorbed by primary producers, that is plants. They get 100% of energy from sun. Now the plants give or transfers the energy, that is only 10% to primary consumers. Primary consumers कौन से होते हैं? Herbivores. And herbivores transfers to secondary consumers, that are carnivores and omnivores. और उनके पास जो एनर्जी आ रही है वो आप देख सकते हैं 1% है केवल. नाउ थर्ड लेवल कंज्यूमर्स के पास ओनली 0.1% एनर्जी पहुंचेगी और नेक्स्ट जो हैं उनके पास 0.01% एनर्जी ओनली दे विल गेट. Now where this energy is lost, you can see energy lost is in form of heat and some part goes to decomposers and then again recycled nutrients moves towards primary producers, that is plants. So that is all about 10% law and this is very important to understand the ecosystem. Depletion of ozone layer. Now it is done in 3 steps. First is chlorofluorocarbons are emitted from the different factories and different sources and reach the ozone layer that is present in stratosphere. In second step, these chlorofluorocarbons are broken down by the sun's ultraviolet rays and chlorine atoms are released into the ozone layer, causing a chain of resolution of ozone layer. And step 3 is harmful ultraviolet rays start reaching the earth and it increases, and due to which these substances can destroy ozone molecules, leading to a decrease in ozone layer's protective capacity. The depletion of ozone layer has serious consequences, including increased exposure to harmful ultraviolet radiations, which can cause skin cancer, cataract, and other health issues. It also disrupts food chains and affects plant and aquatic life. Let us understand the difference between food chain and food wave. Now, food chain consists of a linear sequence of organisms where each organism is eaten by next, starting with primary producers and ending with apex predators. It typically has 4 or 5 levels from producer to apex predator, while a food wave is a network of interconnected food chains showing multiple feeding relationships among different species. It represents a more complex and realistic view of how organisms interact in an ecosystem. Waste management. Garbage can be categorized into two main types: biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Now, organic materials that decomposes naturally, like food scraps, vegetable peels, and garden waste, are known as biodegradable waste. And it takes very less time to decay, as decay rate is very faster. The cost of disposal of biodegradable waste is relatively lower. अब ये जो है बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट है, एब्जॉर्ब हो जाता है नेचर से, और इसको जैसे वेट और बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट है उसको रखने के लिए हम ग्रीन कलर की डस्टबिन्स यूज़ करते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट दैट डू नॉट डिकम्पोज इजीली. इसमें क्या क्या आ सकते हैं? प्लास्टिक्स, मेटल्स, ग्लास. अब इसका जो रेट है, डिके रेट बहुत स्लो होता है, इसीलिए जो कॉस्ट ऑफ डिस्पोजेबल है इसकी वो बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो जाती है. कीप्स ऑन एक्यूमुलेटिंग, और इसको हम रखते हैं डस्टबिन्स में. कौन सी? ब्लू कलर की डस्टबिन्स में, जिसमें प्लास्टिक्स, रैपर्स और सारे नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट हम जो है इसमें रखते हैं ब्लू कलर की डस्टबिन में. आप एक पिक्चर देख सकते हैं बायोडिग्रेडेबल और नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल का एग्जाम्पल, पेपर बैग और प्लास्टिक बैग. लेट अस डिस्कस सम कॉमन मेथड्स ऑफ वेस्ट डिस्पोजल. फर्स्ट इज लैंडफिलिंग. इट इन्वॉल्व्स burying waste in designated area known as landfills. It is compacted and covered with soil to minimize environmental impact. It is a straightforward method for disposing of large amount of waste and can be managed effectively with proper planning, but can lead to soil and water contamination if not managed properly. Inclination. Now, inclination involves burying waste at high temperature to reduce volume significantly, often up to 90%. This method reduces the physical bulk of wastage and can generate energy from the heat produced during combustion, but can release harmful emissions if not properly controlled. Next method is the process of mechanically compressing solid waste material to reduce their volume, enabling more efficient handling, transportation, and disposal in municipal solid waste system. This technique applies pressure using specialized equipment to densify waste, typically achieving volume reductions of 90% depending on the waste type and compaction method. Next is biogas generation. The organic waste can be converted into biogas through anaerobic digestion, where microorganisms break down the waste in the absence of oxygen. This method produces renewable energy and reduces methane emission from landfills, but requires specific conditions and technology to implement effectively. Next method is compositing. Compositing is the process of decomposing organic waste like food scraps, yard waste into nutrient-rich compost through aerobic decomposition. It reduces the amount of waste sent to landfills and produces a valuable product that can be used to enrich soil. And the last one is vermicompositing. It is a sustainable waste management technique that converts organic waste into nutrient-rich compost using earthworms. It involves breaking down organic materials into vermicompost, which is rich in nutrients and can be used as a soil conditioner. Understanding all these waste disposal methods, we can effectively manage waste materials and protect our environment. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.